Sup y'all, Multiplier here, and today converting drums to MIDI in Ableton Live 9, and in my opinion it's the best new feature, and it's kind of easy to overlook why it's such a powerful feature, and I'm going to explain to you why after I very quickly show you how it works. So, dragged in an audio clip into its audio channel, it's just dragging it in, don't need to show how to do that. Right click the clip, convert drums to new MIDI track. Boom! Sorted. That's it. Done. Nice and simple. And now you notice we've got a MIDI track, and if you just look down here, you'll see we've got a drum rack with all the information in. So it's got, it's figured out that there's something that sounds like a closed hi-hat playing there, so on, with all this kind of velocity information, and it's kind of picked out snare sort of sound here, it's picked out a kick sort of sound here. And then depending on the loop, obviously you might find some kicks, some toms, all sorts of sounds. Yeah, and it's super good. And I'll kind of explain the significance in a sec. But then what you can do is, you've got this drum rack, you can simply drag in your own sounds. So here's some kicks I was playing around with last night. So we just drag one of them in, boom, we've got a new kick. So you do that with all the sounds, and you can make your own kind of, your own drum loops, except using the, I don't know, what's the right word? The same groove, the same skeleton, the best sort of, the same vibe, the same flow as the original loop. And there you have it. That's the whole thing, converting drums to MIDI. So why is it so important, and how is this going to make a big deal? So, in case you didn't know, how dance music works is you need these kind of drum loops with, I'm going to call them grooves, but basically what it is if you notice the hits don't hit exactly like on the quantized grid, and also the hits aren't all of the same amplitude, they have different heights, and that is basically kind of the velocity. So if you see this hit here, it's got different height to this hit, and the combination of the hits being different amplitudes subtly, and them kind of subtly not hitting exactly on the quantized grid, gives it that dancey feel, that kind of vibe, that flow, that rhythm, whatever you want to call it. And that's super important in dance music, and you won't hear a dance music track that doesn't have it one way or another. So as producers, what we do is either at the beginning or in the middle or near the end, we stick these drum loops in our tracks, and yeah, you get them loads in sample packs. That's basically where you get them all from, literally hundreds and hundreds. You collect a big collection of all these loops, and then with these loops you can try different ones in your track and see what works, and layer them up and do all loads of sorts of different cool stuff. But the problem is, if you just got a loop like this with, say, like in this case about 3 different hits, some loops can have as much as like 4 or 5 different hits in. It's a nightmare chopping it up, and let's say in a bit of the song we want to, I don't know, take out the snares but leave all the other bits. You can't really do that, it doesn't really work. I'm just really limited, and let's say you don't particularly like the snare, or you want to put the snare of your own track in, you can't really do it. I mean, you can kind of take them out, but then because other things have been layered over the top, you lose the other little subtleties, and it's just a fucking load of nightmare. So the way producers kind of get around that when they want to actually do something original and not actually just simply copy and paste the loops in, is you end up basically reconstructing the loop. And the old way was right click, slice to new MIDI, which did an alright job, because what it did is it it got all the kind of the groove information, or the lack of quantization, got all that information, but didn't have all the velocities, and like you've got all these different slices, but you can't tell what slice was the snare at first, you can't tell what slices were the hi-hats, and if you say you wanted to replace the hi-hats in this, you would literally have to figure out which ones of all these slices were the hi-hats, go into this drum rack type thing, kind of pick the one you want, like figure out exactly what's going on, like add it in, and it's just a fucking nightmare, and all the velocity information wasn't right. So it didn't really work very well. So you've got this cool new feature, convert drums to MIDI. Click at one button and suddenly you've got all that information. You've got the velocity information, you know what hits are where, they even overlap, so you can see how, like, yeah, it's fucking cool. You can kind of, hopefully you can see the significance of this already. So let's say you want to stick your own snare in. It's as simple as going, right, we want our snare here, go to snare, drag in our own snare. That simple, which is amazing. Also, what you can do is, like, let's say you have, like, you've probably noticed there are a load of sample packs that have like hits like here, like just, or like there for example, or there. It's like, it's got kicks in it as well as all the other percussion, and that's a nightmare because it's like you can't really do much with that. You can't say, like, for the last half a bar or the last eighth of a bar of a like a phrase, you can't just take the kick out easily. Now you can kind of do it with EQ and cutting it up nicely, but it doesn't really work as well. But now if you just take the drum loop, just convert the drums to MIDI, and suddenly now the kicks are isolated from everything else. And then if we wanted to, like, take the kicks out at certain parts of the, whatever you call it, the phrase, you would simply just, like, delete the last bunch of kicks. Sorted. And you can do it that way, and you can save all this information. And hopefully you can see how this allows you to construct your own drum loops just so much easier. Because basically the reason we have all these sample packs with all these loops is because it's a nightmare programming all these vibes, all these rhythms, all these grooves, all these different kind of dancey feels, because you can do it with, like, an MPC or a machine, and kind of, if you're really good at drumming, or if you want to spend ages just literally programming it all in yourself, or like using these grooves, which were a bit of a load of shit, to be honest. You could do it, but it was just stupid, and then maybe you made a groove and it didn't actually work with your synth line, so it was a big waste. Now you can just try a load of different drum loops, find one that has a groove that works with the rest of your song, stick it in, substitute your own drum sounds in, and suddenly it's like you got your own sounding loop sorted with all the dancey shit, all the velocity information. Oh, that's stupid. Velocity information, all the kind of off-grid shit you want, like it's not quite lined up, which is what you want. It's all sorted, done, nice and easy, and yeah, it should just speed up your workflow. Now, 7 minutes. Hopefully, I haven't rambled too much, and hopefully, I've got across the kind of significance, I guess, of this new feature and how effective it is. Obviously, it's worth saying it's not an absolutely perfect system. So, like, you'll notice, like, sometimes there's, like, closed hi-hat here, lands up with the kick, and maybe you don't want it there, or maybe that was a mistake. Sometimes it makes mistakes. So yeah, once you've got this information, it's worth having a quick look through and tidying it up. Like, for example, kicks. You pretty much want all your kicks to, what's it called? Have the same velocity. Not really a word for that. So yeah, kind of extract the information by converting to MIDI, tweak it a bit, stick your own sounds in, sorted. That's it. Quick and easy way of getting drum loops. Yeah, also, if you want to be a bit sneaky and make your own sample packs, you want to make drum loops for it, that's what you want to do. Lazy man's way. Simply just start off with someone else's sample pack, extract all the MIDI information from a drum loop, stick in your own sounds, boom, sorted, export that shit, send it off to a sample pack label, see the money come rolling in. Not that that's what I intend to do ever in my life, now that there's this cool feature available, but yeah, should be cool. So yeah, this has been fucking the best new feature of Live 9. I should probably tell you something else about Live 9. I don't know, this legato button's pretty cool. It's not a good example of it for a drum loop, but if you like playing, like whether it's an arpeggio or whatever, or like even like a synth line on the keyboard, record it, and then you're like editing the MIDI information to kind of tighten it up, clicking that legato button's super cool. It makes a big difference. It kind of joins up all the MIDI information, so worth looking into that. And yeah, that's about the only other feature that I'm going to get much use out of, to be honest, other than this Places, which is going to speed up my workflow a ton because all my samples are buried in like layers upon layers of folders, and it's slow navigating. So this is so much quicker now once I fully set it up. So sweet. I've been Multiplier. Hopefully I haven't talked too much shit, and hopefully I've kind of got the importance of this new convert to MIDI button nailed into your heads, and now you can go ahead and use it and make loads of cool music and shit. So yeah, links and shit below, like to everything, both for me and my label. Just follow it all, buy it all, do your thing. Yeah, I've been Multiplier. Have fun using Live 9. It's pretty sweet, and yeah, I'd recommend, like, yeah, you know, I'd definitely recommend switching from the default grey skin because it's just depressing. So fuck that shit, and I like the old blue the best. So cool. Have fun.